Maybe I'm a cynic. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm a bit of both. But draft grades right after the draft are the stupidest things in the world to me, and everybody's doing them. There's a couple million articles and videos out there already from big outlets and small YouTubers alike, all grading the success of teams in the draft, and the draft was only 12 days ago.
What?
Now look, I understand that this is a great way to get views and grow a platform. Hell, I have 4 videos on here, and their views grew exponentially after the draft. I'm working on that, by the way, trying to post a lot more on here. But this idea that you can grade a draft before any of the players have played a single minute in the NBA is absurd, and I'm about to break down why. Let's start with the mock drafts. The basis of most of these draft report cards is often the many mock drafts that are published prior to selection night. There are thousands of these things floating around the internet around draft time. I'll admit, I've even made a few of them, but I never intend for them to be taken seriously. Thing is, not only are these mocks, including mine, usually more wrong than they are right, they're published by people who don't scout for a living. Now, to preface this criticism, I don't claim to be a scout. My videos are surface level breakdowns of draftable talent. But I don't suggest where guys in my videos should go in the draft, if they should be drafted, and what team should take them. I have no clue what each team has going on that affects its wants and needs. All I argue is that each guy I cover deserves some hype, conversation, and a shot at playing at a higher level. A lot of these mock drafts are put out by people who watch prospects as a hobby or write about all things basketball for a large media outlet. And don't get me wrong, a passion for draft prospects is awesome. That's what this channel is based on. But passion doesn't equate to talent, which is why most of us don't make the NBA no matter how much we love basketball. I've seen so many low or high draft grades given based on where players are mocked in these mock drafts. So am I to believe that a draft grade is accurate when it's based on the opinion of someone with no affiliation to the NBA or an NBA team at all? I mean, sure, a select few of these mocks are made by guys who follow prospects for a living, but their mocks are based entirely on their own evaluations, not those of actual NBA teams. Don't believe me? Let's look at this year's draft. The San Antonio Spurs got flamed by analysts and their own fan base for drafting Joshua Primo with the 12th overall pick. I'll rock the boat right now by saying the "you don't have to agree with everything the front office does" crowd is right. You don't. But that doesn't make their evaluations any more valid. Millions of people took to social media to talk about how the Spurs reached so far on this 18-year-old kid from Alabama. Why did they say this? Because hundreds of mock drafts put Primo between picks 25 to 34. Did I think the pick was a reach? Yeah, I'll admit I was a little shocked they took him that high. Even Primo admitted that. But there was some context to this as we found out Primo was OKC's target at 16 and also a name Atlanta was trying to trade up for. He was San Antonio's #1 option, so they snagged him before someone else did. Is that a foolproof strategy? No. Is it flawed? Sometimes. But people hated this pick simply because some guys on the internet said they should. In actuality, those draft pundits had no clue how well Primo had performed at the workouts for NBA teams, and had his stock rise league-wide in the eyes of GMs. In 2019, the Phoenix Suns traded the #6 pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves for the #11 pick in Dario Saric. They used pick 11 to draft Cameron Johnson out of North Carolina. Fans and analysts threw a fit. Johnson was mocked anywhere from pick 21 to 35, so people accused Phoenix of reaching big time. Minnesota selected Jarrett Culver with pick 6, which had Suns fans reeling. Why trade Culver for Cam Johnson and Dario Saric? Well, in 2021, Johnson and Saric have now helped Phoenix to the finals for the first time in decades. Saric played a pivotal role before his injury, and Johnson was a 50-40-90 guy in the playoffs, averaging about 9 points and 4 rebounds as a key bench player in just his second season. Culver, meanwhile, has found himself on the trade block, as he has yet to mesh with the Timberwolves and live up to his potential. His abysmal 28% distance shooting would have killed the current Suns system, but draft pundits had him as the guy to pick, so Phoenix was criticized. Johnson showed out in his workout and checked all the boxes for the Suns, so rather than gamble on potential, like they'd done and failed with in the past, they took their proven commodity. The whole point here is mock drafts are subjective and relative to their creators. everyone, including me, has their favorite prospects. That doesn't make anyone's opinion more valid than the drafting organization's. It sure as hell doesn't make a team's pick worthy of a bad grade. The other reason I hate draft grades? Their jump-the-gun nature. You know what almost every one of these videos grading the selections had in common? They came out right immediately after the draft or the day after its completion. They all declared who made the best picks before any of them had played a minute. Take a second to think about that. It sounds fine in NBA terms because we're so used to it, but think of it like this. Can you review an album without listening to the whole thing? To visualize, I'll offer up two huge albums from the last decade. 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole. Could you rate that album just by listening to the first two songs? Sure, the jazz intro's nice and January 28th is a good song, but you miss out on all the heavy hitters. 03 Adolescence, Wet Dreams, Tale of Two Cities, and Fire Squad are all still in there unheard. One of my favorite albums, Take Care by Drake. If using this philosophy, it leaves you listening to only Over My Dead Body and Shot For Me. Again, good songs, but you leave out some of Drake's most iconic titles as an artist and lose perspective of how good an album it is without seeing what the rest is like. For you old heads, is Abbey Road the same album if you only listen to Come Together and Something? Something's one of the greatest love songs ever written, but how does this album fare if you don't get Octopus's Garden, Here Comes the Sun, and the entire B-side ending medley? The same holds true for draft picks. How the hell do you know how good of a pick a guy is if you don't know his career trajectory? Do me a favor and listen to a breakdown of a player here.
This is a potential and what they think they can do kind of pick. So
this is quite clearly a long-term play.
The youngest player in this draft, but he's a do-it-all. Got size and versatility on both ends. You know, he can be a three-level scorer in the NBA. He can dribble, pass, and defend. He shot just under 45% in catch-and-shoot situations, and he's a solid defender. He's going to be a very good defender, but boy, is he young.
Now listen to this one.
To see who has unlimited potential. 18-year-old player, has some size.
What we have, Reese, is the youngest player in the draft and the most mysterious. He's got a great feel for the game, and he's a great kid with a high motor. But this is a pick that is certainly going to be a future pick. Think of this young man as a McDonald's All-American that needs a development program. We're looking down the road, but a great talent with a great feel for the game. Can you put him in an NBA game right now? You probably cannot. But in the long-term picture, this kid has as much upside as most anybody in this draft.
The first breakdown is that of the aforementioned Joshua Primo. The second is the 2013 draft when Milwaukee selected Giannis Antetokounmpo. Basically identical analyses. Funny thing is, a lot of people question Milwaukee's decision to make that pick as well. They'd taken Tobias Harris as a small forward 2 years prior and drafted John Henson the previous year. Fans didn't think they needed another lanky forward who couldn't shoot. Now that kid has brought them their first title in 50 years. This isn't to say Primo will have an identical trajectory, but these guys are both starting with the same analysis, just a testament to the fact that we can't grade the pick before seeing a couple years of their careers. That's not proof enough? Okay, here's more. SB Nation gave Detroit an A for drafting Stanley Johnson with pick 8 in 2015. He was selected before Devin Booker, who they gave a B grade. The Ringer gave Jarrett Culver a B grade after draft night. He was drafted before Rui Hachimura and Keldon Johnson, who the site gave grades of D and C respectively. CBS pulled no punches in giving the Sacramento Kings an A+ for drafting Thomas Robinson before giving the Pistons a D+ for selecting Andre Drummond and Chris Middleton. NBADraft.net gave the Clippers an A- for selecting Al-Farouq Aminu with pick 8 in the 2011 draft, and then followed it up by giving pick 9 a C when the Jazz took Gordon Hayward. Bleacher Report is so bad that it deserves its own compilation. In 2012, they gave Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Thomas Robinson's selections A+, while giving Mo Harkless' selection a C-. In 2013, they called the Cavs' #1 selection of Anthony Bennett a B+, while giving the Blazers a C for taking CJ McCollum. They gave the Thunder a C for Steven Adams as well. In 2015, they gave Denver's pick of Emmanuel Mudiay an A- and Philly's Jahlil Okafor pick an A, while giving the Kelly Oubre selection by Washington a B-. In 2016, they declared Dragan Bender an A selection, while announcing that Toronto's haul of Jakob Poeltl and Pascal Siakam was a C-. In 2017, they heralded Markelle Fultz and Josh Jackson as A+ selections, while denouncing Donovan Mitchell as a C+. That's 5 drafts of awful takes, so I'll stop there, but you get the point. These are huge misses on the types of careers these guys ended up having because the sites judged them way too soon, and that's mostly because there's no frame of reference for those grades. It's all based on the opinions of how these games will evolve based on college and foreign professional film. We all know plenty of college stars flop in the NBA, so why do we keep doing this? What it boils down to is patience, that wonderful virtue. Draft prospects keep getting younger and more mysterious, and these way too early draft grade judgments are getting harsher and way more presumptive. Sure, not every pick is a good one, but how about waiting till that's a proven fact before declaring it? Nobody wants to be the next viral Stephen A. Smith ranting about how much he hates the Porzingis pick. Give the picks a chance. They might just surprise you.